My background is backwards, out the blue.
My background isn't. What's up, everybody? We welcome you to Beyond the Surface here on the X-Rated Sports Network. Rick Kamla with Dr. X, a.k.a. Dr. Phil McDonald, one of the top radiologists in the world, also known for making clutch Jordan-esque injury diagnoses because his X-ray vision works in both medicine and sports. Dwight Walton played professionally overseas and on the Canadian national team with Steve Nash and Rowan Barrett. In the 1988 Seoul Olympics, he averaged 7 points per game and had a big-time game against Yugoslavia. He's a TSN basketball correspondent and Dr. X's first cousin. A.M. Pfeffer, he's an author. He's been in the entertainment business. He's been in sports. He's been an anchor. He's a businessman in the L.A. area. And here we are, okay? We are Beyond the Surface. Dennis Scott, the great three-point pioneer, typically is on this show. He's got some travel going on today. He may join us a little bit later. Fellas, what's up? Let's have some fun. We got a lot to talk about today.
What's up, my guy?
What's going on, Rick? What's going on? What's happening? What's happening, fellas?
I would say,
Right.
Rick, we have a lot to discuss. I'm looking forward to it. I can tell you that.
Just
We do.
Finch.
So a little warning here, okay? We got to get into the NBA gambling scandal, and I got to download you guys on some facts. If not Dwight and Doc and AM, but a lot of you guys listening, you may be busy or at work and stuff like that. So here are the facts, all right? And then we're going to have a debate. Is gambling endangering the future of the NBA? And we're going to take it in a bunch of directions here. Unfortunately, right, this is the hottest topic in the NBA, and the games have been scorching. They've been amazing all week long. So the NBA has this major scandal and crisis on their hands. Heat guard Terry Rozier, Blazers head coach Chauncey Billups, former player and coach Damon Jones arrested by the FBI, okay? And this is part of investigations related to illegal sports betting and rigged poker games backed by the mafia, according to ESPN. Billups and Rozier were among a total of 34 people arrested. The arrests were the result of a years-long investigation covering 11 states and tens of millions of dollars. Rozier was arrested on Thursday. Billups was arrested on Thursday. He coached his team the previous night, okay, in the Anthony Edwards game. The next morning, the cops were at his door, taking him off to the cop shop. I don't really know. And God bless these guys, man. We don't really know what's going on. This is all alleged right now, but it's obviously it's just not a great look, man. So Damon Jones was arrested Thursday as well. He allegedly provided insider information about NBA games to co-defendants who used it to play sports bets. Billups went into the Hall of Fame last year, okay? And so we've got some breaking news here. Thiago Splitter, former San Antonio Spur, international great, fantastic Brazilian player. He is going to assume the head coaching duties on an interim basis with Billups dealing with this right now, according to Shams Charania. The NBA announced that Billups was being placed on immediate leave as they continue to investigate his involvement in an FBI sports gambling probe. Rozier in the final year of a 4-year, $96 million deal. And LeBron has made a headline about this, although he did nothing about it, okay? He's the biggest star in the NBA, and I just want to get this out here. I say shame on ESPN. I mean, it's like it is his name has been brought up, but he didn't do anything wrong. Here's the report, ESPN. 11-year NBA player Damon Jones arrested Thursday amid charges that he allegedly disclosed privileged information about a prominent basketball player to facilitate illegal sports betting. That prominent player, according to a source close to James telling ESPN, was LeBron James. James was not accused of wrongdoing in the indictment. James was unaware that Jones was involved in gambling activity when Jones spent time around James and the Lakers during the 22-23 season. And the federal indictment alleges that before a Lakers game against the Bucks on February 9, 2023, Damon Jones allegedly texted a co-conspirator. These are words you don't use very much in the sports vernacular, okay? Conspirator? Jones texted allegedly a co-conspirator to get a big bet on Milwaukee tonight because James was going to be out. Jones allegedly added via text, bet enough so D. Jones can eat now. And so this is all alleged. This is all in the ESPN report. And without James, Milwaukee beat the Lakers 115-106. And so that's the lay of the land, guys. Doesn't look great. Dwight Walton, I go to you first here. This is the question. You can take it anywhere else you want to go. Is gambling endangering the future of the NBA?
As long as gambling and professional sports are in lockstep in terms of financial gain, gambling will be an issue, because this is what, at that level, none of us have been in the NBA, the NFL, Major League Baseball, nor the National Hockey League, talking about sports in North America. But at that level, money is being exchanged, money is being bet on in terms of casinos, on simple road trips. Of
We are suddenly having some issues with Dwight's audio here. Dwight, sorry, we cannot hear you.
athletic.
We got you now. There you are, Dwight. We missed about 20 seconds of what you were saying. Sorry.
I'm sorry about that. So when it comes to these athletes, they're so competitive. You've heard about road trips where hundreds of thousands of dollars are being exchanged, being gambled. So again, a lot of the stuff that we're going to be talking about today, and I want to get this out in the open right now, it's alleged. Nothing is concrete. We have to be able to somehow not be emotional about this and have these people be innocent until proven guilty. So again, as long as gambling and professional sports are in lockstep, there is going to be issues, because once these guys are not playing, once they're not practicing, once they're not with their families, there's a lot of downtime, a lot of idle time. And these guys are trying to fill that gap with stuff that they're passionate about. And for some in professional sports, gambling is a major part of it, whether it be poker, on the golf course, playing dominoes, anything, any competitive sport where money can be bet on, can be exchanged, that's going to happen. And in some cases, some of these guys, whether they're in financial situations, whether it be good or bad, they're going to delve into a world that a lot of us aren't privy to, but because of their elite status, they're going to get involved with it. And that is their decision to make, good or bad. These are grown men we're talking about, and they're going to make decisions that we not may agree with, whether we like it or not. So again, I know I'm saying this thing over and over, but as long as gambling and professional sports are in lockstep, there is going to be issues such as this that are going to come across. This has been happening for years, but because of the age of social media and 24-hour media outlets, this stuff is going to be even more glamorized, scrutinized more than ever before.
AM, why don't you jump in here, and then we'll get Dr. X's take, and then I'll jump in here as well. AM, is gambling endangering the future of the NBA?
Well, let me ask you this, Rick. Is the splitting of the atom, does that endanger the state of the world? The notion that like we,
that was
grander,
deep. Man, that was deep. I'm still trying to process that over here.
Yeah, and let me unpack it for you a little bit. I mean, obviously the notion was like, hey, let's bring a hydrogen bomb, an atom bomb into the world, and this will protect everybody, right? This will be a good thing for the world, and it's somewhat similar in the sense of like, let's correlate gambling to all sports, whether that be college and certainly professional sports. In the shortest answer that I could get to, no, it's not endangering the future of the NBA. Okay, we are so far past it, and I guess a little bit of what I'm saying about the notion of how long it was ago that the Manhattan Project brought us into the age of nuclear technology, and all of us quote unquote 1 second to midnight around the world. But in the world of sports, it's the complete opposite. These leagues have grown leaps and bounds across the board. Money is beyond the scope of anybody's even understanding of what truly billions of dollars are, at that level in the generation of revenues like that and ownership across the board, and the making of billionaires and then millionaires and multimillionaires at the athlete level. It's not endangering the future of sports. No, I wouldn't say that. And we're going to have a larger conversation, and everybody, I know we're going to go round and round on this. I want to think about it like this for a moment, if we may. This story, while huge, especially at the open of the NBA season, I don't want to pour cold water on everybody's thought process here about what this is. I don't think it's as big as everybody wants to make it out to be, even at the levels. And we'll unpack all three levels. I mean, Damon Jones has one specific level, Rozier and other players who supposedly took themselves out of games to win the under. Another level, certainly supposedly what Chauncey did, where he not only gave some insider information potentially, but also was the face guy for quote unquote fish at poker games backed by the mafia. That's intriguing, and we're going to get into all of that. To me, you'd really have to go back a couple of years to the Tim Donaghy scandal. I think that's way bigger. That's already been put under the rug, and we've moved past it. But I'd like to unpack that and talk a little bit more at some point on this show, because to me that was a way, way, way bigger deal than what we just heard about in the past couple of days.
Dr. X, come on in here.
Man, it's mind-boggling that we're talking about the mafia and things like that. It kind of like sounds like something straight out of a movie scene, and then also reminds us of the dark underbelly of the NBA, of what they used to have when mobsters used to threaten players to do certain things in the game. And one of the reports I heard out there, which I'm not sure is true, they were saying that at one point Porter was threatened. And so everything started when, I believe, all the domino effect happened when Jontay Porter got kicked out the league. And then now I guess he's trying to, help his own case. So I guess he started singing like a canary. But prior to this, apparently he was threatened. I'm not sure if he was threatened to do what he did, which got him kicked out the league. And then now he's giving up everybody. So all the information he was able to give kind of blew this whole case open. And so, some Knicks fans, we always think about like, some of the stuff we heard about back in the day. I think that happened in the 70s or even way before that, where some mobsters were involved. And we always feel like Knicks fans feel like we're cursed because of that history of betting and having players shave points and things like that. And so I think it's bad for the NBA because it brings back the history and the bad feelings about stuff being rigged. And sometimes you hear fans, I think sometimes the fans go way too far with things being rigged, but then we can't fault those type of fans because the stuff that's happened in the past with the referees. So I think it's bad that it's bringing back this history that we're trying to forget and just have the love for the game that we have. And we kind of accepted all these betting apps, FanDuel, DraftKings, and there's always a new one popping up, Underdogs and Sleeper Fantasy. Everything is just popping up. So it's good for the league because now we're getting these dollars that have helped, generational wealth for a lot of the players. And that's great. And I think we shouldn't give it up for that, but there has to be more oversight. And hopefully, back in the day when you're in school and it's a learning lesson, right? So they're going to make the same way they made an example out of Jontay Porter is the same way they're going to make an example out of this case. Unfortunately, it's going to be with names potentially, give them their due process. But unfortunately, it's going to be with names of players that are, that we've endeared to our, our basketball history. For me, being 46, 2003, 2004, or whenever the Detroit Pistons won it, and you have Chauncey Billups as he was the Finals MVP. And I actually felt they had a chance to win it. I just looked at the matchups: Rasheed Wallace, Rip Hamilton, Ben Wallace, Eldon Campbell. I was like, they have enough bigs. I forgot the guy, the shooter.
Buddha.
Is Mehmet Okur?
No, not Buddha. Yeah, Mehmet Okur.
Yeah, Mehmet Okur. And I was just like, they got a squad, and they ended up winning. That's the Chauncey Billups, and that got arrested. And just hearing that term, it's one thing to be, alleged and this and that, but he got cuffs put on him. You know what I mean? That's follows him forever. And lastly, the other thing is, I always tell people, you always have to think worst case scenarios when you're making a decision. And worst case scenario, like these guys are involved in stuff, they're saying that for each count, it could be 20 years.
Mm.
So for the fans of the game, it's like seeing your heroes. Like imagine if, you know, Jordan, you know, these other names, LeBron, you know, not everybody, not your average fan knows about Chauncey Billups, but we do. You know what I'm saying? So hearing that attached to his name is pretty tough to hear.
It's extremely tough to hear. Guys, that was that run right there, the 2004 playoffs. It was my second year with NBA TV, and they were kind of blowing me up a little bit, and they sent me on the road for the first 3 rounds of the playoffs. Every night, we would be in a different arena. It was Miami, it was Detroit, it was San Antonio. It was mostly like middle and east. I don't think we went west very much, but it was phenomenal. In a lot of Pistons games. I was up at the Palace of Auburn Hills, interviewed Chauncey multiple times, and then, you know, as his career went along, I love Chauncey Billups. He's one of the coolest dudes, players that he's just a get it guy. Like, he's very, very kind to people, very humble. He's just a chill guy. I'm a big fan. I was in the locker room after they won that championship. And from then the anchor thing, and then, you know, I'm out like at the desk and doing all that fun stuff. But that year I was actually in the locker room getting champagne. Like, I was just like backed in a corner like this, or like, you know, kind of just trying to stay out of the way, and they're spraying champagne. That was really, really cool. So like I said, you know, God bless these guys, man. I don't know where we're going here. I love, Dwight, what you said. This is alleged right now. We've got to let the court process play out. Clearly, as it sits right now, it's not a good look at all. But it's alleged, and we've got to remember that. So is gambling endangering the NBA? I ask it that way because, and I'm thinking about this, you know, coming up with the bit for the show, is you know, gambling ruining the NBA? Of course it's not ruining the NBA.
No.
Of course it's not. Okay, but is it endangering the NBA, the future of the NBA? Here's how I think it is. Financially, no. This is a freight train. This is a juggernaut of show business that cannot be stopped. Okay, the Donaghy thing didn't even stop the NBA. That would have had more of a likelihood. That, I mean, that's referees. That's the calling of the game. This is guys trying to, you know, like suck one night and go under on prop bets, and you know, it's different. It's a big deal. It's not cool at all. It's illegal, but it's not a credibility hit like the Donaghy thing. But I believe, and this is football as well, guys. Okay, Jamison Williams, who I love, several other guys, right? Calvin Ridley, like, got caught up in either gambling or whatever that was, right? So it's over there too. What it's endangering is the credibility of the game. It's not endangering the financial solvency of the NBA. It's not, people are still going to watch. They're not going to be like, oh, I'm not watching Inside the NBA tonight because some cats were involved with the mafia. They're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. If you love the NBA, you're going to watch the NBA. And obviously, guys, we have the casuals who say, you know, the season starts on Christmas. Kind of, you know, it's somewhat annoying, but okay, it's a part of American sports culture for a lot of people. Oh, Christmas. Oh, it's NBA Day. Okay, and now obviously the NFL has poached that too. They play on Christmas. But I think it's endangering the credibility of the game. So, guys, in terms of, you think about Jonte Porter, right? To get caught up in a hustle to make, you know, extra money, it's not excusable or justifiable. And God bless him and what he's facing right now. It's quite another thing for a Hall of Fame player like Chauncey Billups, a player on a $90 million contract like Rozier, to allegedly find themselves in a gambling ring. If Billups and Rozier could be allegedly lured into this, then a lot, unfortunately, is possible. Okay. And I want to get into kind of what Shams Charania has said. He told Ernie and Charles and Kenny and Shaq last night on Inside the NBA on ESPN. By the way, just a quick thought bubble. It's the best decision ESPN has ever made, ever in their whole existence. It is the best decision they have ever made, not to chop it up, not to bring them up to Bristol, not just keep it what it is. And it's on our network now. And all they did was change graphics. It's the only thing that changed. It's brilliant.
Same producers, same crew.
And it's the same stage manager, the same producers, the same camera operators. It's the best decision ESPN's ever made. You know why? Because it's about people. It's not about money. And so I just wanted to give them a shout out. They make decisions I don't agree with, but this one, I just standing ovation. Bravo. But Shams told Ernie and Charles there was potentially more to this story. And Shams had a look on his face like, I'm going to be in this for the next 5 months, right? Like my phone, I am not sleeping the whole year because it could be 3:12 a.m. It could be 5:27 a.m. There's going to be stuff coming out on this, right? Dwight said it. We have not heard the last of this. But Shams sort of foretold that there's more to this story and we're going to get more buzzkills. He said there are 30 plus other people who were arrested, but their names have not been released or reported yet. So, fellas, stay tuned. But I throw it back to Dwight, Doc, AM, whoever wants to jump in here. I love the shout out to ESPN and the insight. It's good to see my homie still up there, man, intact.
I love it.
You know what? I will say this on a side note. Some of the happiest people right now in regards to this latest scandal for the NBA are the LA Clippers, Steve Ballmer, Kawhi Leonard. It takes attention off of them for a while unless they're involved in this situation. I'm not saying that they are, but this is, I want to respectfully disagree with you, AM. As far as I'm concerned, this is a big deal. And we're talking about Chauncey Billups. Remember now, in the report or in the document, it says an unnamed co-conspirator. But when that unnamed co-conspirator is being described, if you follow the NBA and you've got common sense, common knowledge, player was drafted in 1997, has played for multiple teams, is currently living in the state of Oregon, is the head coach in the state of Oregon. When it breaks it down like that, of course, the assumption is that it is Chauncey Billups. And what's attached to that is that he knowingly told people that the Blazers are trying to tank. He was told to not play several players. This, that, and the third, whatever you want to say, that's what Chauncey Billups did. And as far as integrity and credibility to what Rick's point is all about, that the perception is already out there from people. There is a minority dynamic of fans out there who already think professional sports, or maybe even sports in general, are scripted. People don't believe what they're watching. I've got people who think people's careers are scripted, as if they're not the ones going out there hitting the golf ball, hitting the baseball, putting the puck in the net, making a shot from distance, like it's some kind of grand scheme that everything that we're watching is not real. So when this type of stuff comes up, it just adds to what people, again, a minority dynamic of fans are already thinking, that sports that we're watching is not real and it's basically Hollywood. So when stuff like this comes around, whether gambling is endangering, whether it's an issue in professional sports, when stories come up like this, it just, I guess, confirms or justifies how people think of their perception of professional sports. So when stories like this come out, it doesn't help the sport. It's not going to hurt professional sports, but it doesn't help the sport. And again, social media, the way it is, good or bad, right or wrong, we're all allowed to our own opinions. We have the right to that. But when you hear all the backlash that's coming towards this, that does not help any situation whatsoever. So is it going to kill the NBA, the National Football League, the National Hockey League, or Major League Baseball, Major League Soccer, or college sports? Definitely not. It's not going to, but this still puts a stain and a perception of doubt on what the fans who we're supposed to be appealing to in the first place is going to put doubt in their minds as to what they're truly watching and how they feel this conglomerate, this multi-billion-dollar business. The NBA just signed an 11-year, $78 billion television contract. So they're not concerned about money, of course not. And as I said, gambling and professional sports are in lockstep. We're seeing commercials all the time. Players are representing these sports businesses. So of course there's going to be that perception that something can go wrong. And when it does go wrong, that's why we're going to be talking about it on platforms like this.
And those, you can't tell those people anything. And again, not. God bless them. I'm not mad at them, but the people that, it's rigged and all this kind of stuff, have sports at times like the real sport, not wrestling, right? Wrestling obviously is scripted and it's Hollywood played out with, these huge hulky athletes and all this kind of stuff. Sorry if that's offensive. Is that not kind of common knowledge, right? It's all scripted. I mean, it's it's sports entertainment as they call it. I'm not banging on wrestling. That's just my perception of it. But you can't tell those people anything. Man, the game's rigged. Remember the Lakers Celtics game when they fouled the crap out of LeBron and they didn't call the foul. He's on the ground he was speechless. He was so mad, right? And Laker fans, the game is rigged. You can't tell those people anything, man. I want to go back and roundtable this a little bit. Something Dwight said earlier, and Doc, I want to go to you first on this. Dr. X. He mentioned that there's going to be issues. As long as gambling and sports are in lockstep, and they are in lockstep, the NBA has not one, but two official betting partners. That's how big this is. They don't have two official beer partners. It's Michelob Ultra, okay? They don't have two official car, it's Kia, right? They have co-official sports gambling sponsorships with FanDuel and DraftKings, okay? Not one, two. That's the power of and that ain't going anywhere, by the way. I agree with Dwight. Think about, Pete Rose back in the day, the Black Sox back, the great movie 8 Men Out, right? The Chicago Black Sox getting back at Charlie Comiskey back in the day, throwing games. This is not new to sports, and none of you are saying that. There's going to be problems. So, Dr. X, do we just have to, as fans, and media people, and appreciators of the game and curators of the game of basketball, do we just have to resign ourselves to some collateral damage here and just say, this stuff's gonna happen, and it sucks and all this kind of stuff, and it's alleged right now, but do we just say it's collateral damage? Does the league, Doc, just say, it's collateral damage, we're pressing on? Yeah, it's a meat grinder that's gonna chew some people up along the way that make some bad decisions, but this freight train's cooking down the tracks and we ain't stopping.
I think that's what we have to do, is resign ourselves that it is collateral damage. It's important to keep the integrity of the game, but at some point with any game, with anything that you do, there's just certain things you just have to punt and just say, okay, this will always be a problem. As long as we have the NBA and as long as there's betting and as long as that's paying the bills, that there's always going to be this problem. And just human nature, there's always going to be bad actors. I hate to get biblical, but the Bible says, the poor you have with you always. There's nothing we can't get around. With all the billions of dollars that we have and all the billionaires, there's still unhoused people. There's still people who are poor. And it's just something that we're always going to have to deal with the NBA. There's always going to be bad actors in terms of, utilizing the system or gaming the system. And, we don't want that to take the fun away, right? So we got to kind of, close our ears to the noise. I just think the only problem is when you get to a high stakes NBA finals, and especially with the referee stuff, and everybody thinks, I think Sacramento should have won that series against the Lakers, and
right.
And we kind of just brush it under the rug. We never talk to the Sacramento Kings and say, hey, does Kobe really have 5 rings, and does Shaq really have 4 rings, or is it 3 rings? We never go there. We just say, oh yeah, he got arrested, this and that.
Love it.
But we know if you really break it down, you don't deserve that ring. We never say that. And it's the same thing with the there's a certain things you can't control, right? And so we had the bubble ring, right? We couldn't control COVID, so we played basketball in this bubble in Orlando. And now LeBron has a fourth ring because of that. So we'll always talk about things like that. This is stuff we can't change. So it's better for us to resign the fact that we can't change it and get back to the game we love and control the things we control, and the things we can't control, we just have to tune it out.
If I can interject just a little thing, we need to understand most, if not all, of fandom is based on emotion rather than factual analysis / information. So when it comes to talk about championships, about the Sacramento LA series back in 2001 or 2002, the series in question, you talk about the bubble championship. Of course, me being the LeBron advocate, had another team won that championship, and I think we can all agree on this panel, we wouldn't have had the asterisk beside the championship. But because LeBron and the Lakers won, mostly LeBron we're talking about here, there's going to be that talk. So again, we have to take it with a grain of salt. Again, everybody's entitled to their opinion, but when it comes to stuff like this, I think a lot of us speak more with emotion than actual facts and context when it comes to stuff as important as this. So we need to understand and be able to compartmentalize the true issues here, what we're truly putting out there over the airwaves when it comes to information like this. We need to process, educate ourselves, and put out the proper information instead of being emotional and giving our barbershop opinion.
AM, you're very successful in business. Is this something that if the powers that be are just like, it's collateral damage, and clearly with empathy, they don't want this stuff to happen, but talk to me about that.
Yeah, look, and Dwight, I'm so glad you just said what you did, and Rick, I appreciate you bringing that up and heading in this direction, because I'm going to bring this back around and again, I know a lot of what we're supposed to do is get on a camera or get on a podcast and sensationalize. And I'm here to say I'm probably the one dissenting voice saying that this, again, to me, isn't that big of a deal in the greater scheme of things. And the story will continue to go on. There's some fascinating aspects to it. But who did the FBI say were the victims in this story? They already came out. This is day 2 of it now. And this morning, they answered that question. Who are the victims? It's exactly who you said, Rick. They actually said it's FanDuel and DraftKings. Those are the victims. Right then and there. That is why this is not going to go as far as it needs to, and what the focus really is. You're talking about the gambling houses that are the victims of this. And immediately everybody, an emotional response to that is going to be throw up their hands. I don't care. And why should I care about them as victims? So that's what's going to bring this back. And again, there are really so many layers and components to what we're talking about here, from what supposedly Damon Jones did, or Malik Beasley, or Jonte, or supposedly what Terry Rozier did and a couple other players taking themselves out of games and under bets. To me, the psychology of this is much more fascinating at a guy like Terry Rozier's level, at a $100 million athlete, why he's ultimately doing this. That's what we should be discussing and figuring out, why an individual would have to go that route. Now, as far as where Chauncey was involved, or again, Damon Jones supposedly being face guys for the mafia to bring people in and bilk them out of rigged poker games. Now, that is truly interesting. But again, more psychology here. How did Chauncey even get in that position? Why was he there? What was the impetus for him to do all of that? Again, going back to this, and I really want to put this in perspective, and I think it's important. To me, the Balco scandal in baseball was a much bigger issue, especially when you went all the way to Sosa and Palmeiro and McGuire sitting in front of the United States government, defending themselves and lying their asses off about it, right? Or Lance Armstrong, 7-time champion, ultimately deny, and was ultimately doping, right? I mean, to be the 7-time champion, what that is around the world to people, and what it means on that level. Because again, here in the United States, we're not as excited necessarily about bicycling or soccer as they are around the world. But that was huge news, certainly. And again, I go back to the Donaghy scandal, and I want to bring it back to this for 1 second. And I know, again, we can unpack and continue to talk about our 3 guys here, but what I was so enamored about with that particular scandal, right, was that the NBA had gotten to a point of predictability. And what I mean by that is Donaghy was able to leverage what he knew about other refs, whether other refs were involved or not. He was able to understand the flow of a game and the predictability at the time the game was being played, that he was able to make calls on that. Jimmy the Sheep Batista, who's a big part of the documentary, if you ever want to watch that documentary about Donaghy, really pointed that out. And he brought up such a great point about the NBA being tipped off first by the FBI when that scandal was being broken, and then that getting leaked to the media, and no one knows to this day who ultimately leaked it. So the NBA was able to quash that. That was, I mean, you're talking about the impartial people in the game, the referees who are supposed to be, the gatekeepers of the game. And that, unfortunately, that to me was a much bigger stain. And the NBA withstood that and moved past it very quickly. In this case, I think it'll be the same thing. Now, all of us are going to be fascinated, especially by the Chauncey story as this goes on, and maybe another big name or two. LeBron's name will drop out of this at some point, obviously, and poor decision on ESPN Sport or anybody else to sensationalize him, certainly. But if I can bring this back to Rick, what you're asking, from a business perspective, I don't think this hurts the NBA even one iota.
I love it. Now, Dr. X, by the way, we are beyond the surface. Fantastic show here on the X-Rated Sports Network. Thank you all for joining us out there. We really appreciate you hanging out with us on a Friday afternoon. We are live and we are right here with y'all. So, Doc, and this is a little bit more on this scandal, but let's lighten it up a bit. Okay? Another wrinkle to this scandal. They allegedly resorted to elaborate means, giving new meaning to X-rated sports. Check this out. CBS News reported this. Doc, you're going to love this, and you're going first here, my friend. The defendants allegedly used a kind of poker chip tray that secretly reads cards with a hidden camera to analyze the chips that were in use. They also allegedly used special contact lenses or eyeglasses capable of reading pre-marked cards in an X-ray table. Doc, one of the foremost radiologists on earth, Dr. Phil McDonald, that could read cards even when they were placed face down, according to the charging document. Dr. X, we need the radiologist rundown on these X-ray gambling tables, man. What is up with this?
Jeez, man, it sounded like something from Ocean's 11, very like movie-like plot. And I never heard of this type of technology before. But if I could imagine, I don't think it's exactly like radiation per se. I think there's markers they might be putting on these cards, and maybe it lights up with the depending on the contact lens. Like this is all like 007 type of stuff. I'm like, this is stuff that we, with the phone, on the wrist, things that we see in future. So for them to be having lenses and stuff, there's also apparently cameras, and there's a guy outside the room that's telling someone what to do. And
wow,
that was straight out of 007. I think if you blink twice, it took a picture. You remember one of those I think it was Mission Impossible. They would blink twice and it would take pictures of stuff. So I didn't even know that technology is real. So apparently there's it's not exactly like how they're describing it. Apparently there's some variation of it, but regardless, it's allowing people to cheat the game and also take advantage of people. They have high net worth individuals that are just trying to have fun with these athletes and thinking they can win, and they never had a chance to win in the first place. So it's very dishonest, it's unfair, and that part of it, I think, is the part that doesn't have to do with the basketball side. This is the poker side. But ultimately, they're involved with this, and that faces about 20 years of that's just that one count.
AM, Dwight, anything else to add to this?
No, this is.
How do we feel about the $7 million? Dwight, I want to hear yours, and Rick, your thoughts. I mean, is this a big enough number? And then one particular guy losing $1.8 million. Is this a big enough number for everybody to sink their teeth into and get all up in arms about with by the way, the technology part of this is very cool, right? But I mean, this is where the mafia is these days. They're relegated to using like dirty tricks to rig underground poker games and use faces of sports, the sports world, to bring in the quote unquote fish to bilk them out of $7 million. One guy, $1.8 million in particular. Like, is this exciting enough for us?
That's a great question. Ultimately, $7 million. at that level, it's not that much money. And if you really want to break it down to Chauncey Billups, unless I have the wrong figure, if all Chauncey gained, quote unquote, from this was $50,000, was it worth it? And unfortunately, whether it's Chauncey, whether it's any one of us on this panel, if we're caught on one of these X-ray tables and there are faces there, whether we know what we're doing or not, the evidence is there that we're on tape doing this. And that's why, again, it's not going to ruin sports. Let's call it as it is. At the same time, it's wrong. And it hurts the credibility and the perception. Going back to Chauncey again, I'm not sure if it's a political analyst or what's his name, Clive on. I forget what his name. There's a video out there of somebody questioning Chauncey Billups several years ago in this same setting of a poker game. I have to find that video and send it to you guys. I should have sent it to you guys on the group chat. But it's emotional. It hurts. Depending on how you feel about the Trump administration, depending on how you feel about Kash Patel giving the press conference, there's always going to be some demographic of fans that are not going to like how this is being handled. Why is the NBA being highlighted in this? We could talk about this till we're blue in the face. There's going to be a whole bunch of different angles, and until we get all of the facts, did the United States government, Kash Patel in particular, did he use the three names from the NBA to sensationalize, to hyperbolically put this thing out there to draw attention to this? There's a whole lot of questions we can ask ourselves. But again, certain names have to be used to get what you truly want to get to be accomplished. And I think we can add this to what we're talking about today. That could be a part of the drama that we could be speaking about going forward.
Beyond the Surface, X-Rated Sports Network. Here we are. These guys are phenomenal, right? I want to tie this up with a bow and AM address what you were kind of asking me right there. Is this enough money? It is. And the fact that the word mafia is even involved in this story at all. I'm not going to say you had me at the mafia. I don't want to glamorize it and all that kind of stuff, but it is interesting, right? I think pretty much every American is at least interested or fascinated directly, indirectly, loosely, distantly, or like you come home from work and you watch mob movies all night. Okay. So like the mafia is just that sort of like that thing in America that we watch the movies on it. And so, yeah, the mafia is involved allegedly. So that's pretty crazy. Now let's move on. Are you guys ready to talk some basketball? Are you guys ready to talk some basketball?
Yes, please.
We have had some sensational games. Let's go to last night, guys. Thunder at Pacers. I'll be honest with you. I thought this game was going to be a beatdown. I really, really did. And this is, with Nebhard going in, he had a shoulder injury, couldn't start the second half. We don't know the details on that yet. But OKC wins 141-135 in double overtime. You're having deja vu. Yes, second straight double overtime game to start the season. ESPN said last night, so if the stat is wrong, blame them. It is the first time in NBA history anybody started with back-to-back double overtime games. Seems a little hard for me to believe, but anyway, that's what they said. And if that's true, it's crazy history. Speaking of crazy history, SGA hits us with 55, a double nickel, fellas. 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, 23 of 26 from the foul line. I'm not a foul baiter accuser. I love SGA. You're going to go out there and shoot 23 free throws and win the game? Bravo, young fella. Win. Just win, baby, Al Davis style. And they did. 5th 50-point game of his career. I think he had a 35 in game 1. So he's at 90 points through 2 games or whatever it is. A.J. Mitchell had another huge game with 26. Aaron Wiggins was hitting clutch Jays in the overtimes, 23. Mathurin went off, 36 and 11 fouled out. Siakam was extraordinary. And how gassed out was Pascal in second overtime last night. Love me some Siakam, 32, 15, and 4. And my guy Obi Toppin had 20 off the bench. AM, I'm going to go to you first on this. Here's the kind of the debate question on this, and let's launch into this. And then obviously, any thoughts you have on the game, bring them in. Is SGA AM and Dwight and Dr. X, is SGA the best clutch player in the NBA?
He absolutely is. And you know something? I want to go back to what we talked about on Monday's show, and you brought it up, Rick. Is SGA on Kobe Jordan level? And I had my answer as to what it is, but you really put a bow on it for me, and I really appreciated what you did as we're talking about really just on the court level. One thing about SGA in through these two games that I really want to highlight more than anything else, MVP type stuff, why he is who he is. Look what he did through 3/4 of that first game against the Rockets, and Amen Thompson ultimately locking him down, and he just did not have a great stat line. Look at quarter 4 of that game when they came back and won that game and where he brought it to. And again, this game as well. Now, he was having a pretty decent game through and through all the way through, but when it got to fourth quarter and overtime, that's what a true MVP is. That's when you're at Kobe Jordan level. He is unbelievable. Is he the best clutch guy in the league? Yeah, absolutely. At this point, I'm going back-to-back games, what he did, where he brought his team, and what they did. But as far as just watching basketball is concerned, the two opening night of the week for the Oklahoma City Thunder. I mean, if you're a fan of basketball, if you're a fan of the team that just won the NBA Finals and what the trial by fire they're going through and coming out victorious in both of them, incredible stuff. Loved it. Loved every second of it.
Dwight, why don't you jump in here, man? Is SGA the best clutch player in the NBA? This is an opinion piece, right? You can say, nah, Brunson's my guy or whatever. Like, that it isn't. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Listen, Jalen Brunson won the award last year, but SGA ultimately won the championship. And to AM's point, when you need your MVP to show up, SGA shows up. It's gotten to the point for me that if he misses a shot in a clutch situation, I'm more surprised about that than he is when he makes the shot. And to be able to, it's gotten to the point, we all talk about when a player gets to a certain level, the game slows down. If you watch SGA, it has gotten to the point where he can basically chill. I'm not going to go out there and discredit what Amen Thompson did in that first game in sort of curtailing SGA, if you will. But when it came time to win, SGA took on the challenge of Amen Thompson's defensively and pretty much won out. Can you say that he used the first 3 quarters to sort of get a gauge on how Amen is defending him and then took his advantage of his aggressivity towards SGA defensively? That we'll never know unless I talk to Shai man to man. But again, an MVP shows up when he needs to show up for his team. And SGA, so far in these first 2 games, has definitely showed up and showed out in terms of that. In regards to the foul baiting you brought up, Rick, I don't think Shai is. Again, I'm also a referee part-time here in Montreal. So I can see what's happening with Shai. Does Shai create a lot of contact? Sure. Does he foul bait? I think any great offensive player is trying to gain the advantage and to see what he can take advantage of in terms of the officiating. It is a skill to be able to draw fouls. There are players in the NBA that aren't as good as drawing fouls as the next guy. Shai is the best at it. He got to the free throw line 40 times in the first 2 games. That's also being a part of an MVP. You have the respect of the officials. And at the same time, while you don't want to be tricked as an official, if contact is being created and the defender is creating an advantage by trying to bump, shoulder, clip, whatever the case may be, Shai deserves to go to the free throw line as much as he does. And that's part also of being an MVP. So Shai, to me, is the most clutch player currently we have in the NBA. And just based on these 2 games, I don't know if he can physically continue to do this from now until next June, but the way he plays, the pace he plays at, the aesthetics of it, it's fun to watch. He is a mid-range assassin, is a much improved 3-point shooter, but at the end of the day, he wants to be successful inside the three-point area more than any player currently in the NBA, and that includes DeMar DeRozan, Kevin Durant. Anybody that you think is great at the mid-range, SGA is owning that compartment right now and is the best at it across the board.
Dr. X, I want to nuance this question for you. We know it's very, very well established that you're a huge Knicks fan. And there's one thing that you can, I don't know who your favorite player is. My favorite player in the NBA is Jalen Brunson. I think we've talked about that. I kind of like vicariously, or whatever that word is, kind of like the Knicks are somewhat of like a side piece team for me. I'm a Timberwolves fan, but because of Brunson, I want the Knicks to do well because that's my guy. So 3 seconds left. You're down 1. You got a side out. Are you calling a play for Jalen Brunson or Shai Gilgeous-Alexander?
Man, that's tough. Well, let history show that Jalen Brunson did the Jordan on Asar Thompson against the Pistons, but it was from the 3-point line. And I think if you're going to look at it, hey, Dwight, I got the floor here. Okay, I got the floor here. So if you're going to look at the one weakness in Shai's game, it's the 3-point. It's a 3-point shot, and that's a little discouraging for me on that. But he'll take them, and so you have to respect it. But that's the one weakness in his game. I would say Jalen Brunson, the fact that he can pull that off on the other Thompson twin, who I think is known for playing better defense but doesn't have the same offensive bag. I would pick Brunson because I'm a homer and I have to see all my fellow Super Knick fans every week. So I'm going to go with Brunson just because we're on the air. But I hate
definition to the word homer here.
Yeah. But I actually hate to say one is better than the other. I think they're both tier 1. And if we look at the since the Clutch, Player of the Year award started, I think we had De'Aaron Fox as number 1.
Yep.
Then next year was Brunson, and so I think SGA could likely win it. But I think the 3-point shot is really his Achilles heel. But it doesn't matter because he knows how to take over a game.
I love all these answers, man. So my thing on let me give you just a couple of examples this year. In the win over Indiana, first overtime, 27 seconds left, hits a mid-range J, put the Thunder ahead. Mathurin scores to force double OT. In second overtime, SGA took over. Of course he did. He had an and 1 early, then a bucket, then 4 late free throws, to take it from 4 to 6 or whatever that was, just kind of to ice the game. In the win over Houston, 2 free throws with 2.3 seconds left remaining in the second overtime to give the Thunder the win. And he had missed, I think, 4 free throws going into that sequence. So there was a little sometimes great free throw shooters just have off nights. And that was an off night for him. But he got it going. And then SGA hit a short jumper with 2 seconds left remaining in the fourth quarter to tie the game at 104. And that is the play I want to focus on because that's why SGA, I'm running that play. And I love Brunson. I'm running that play for SGA because SGA is taller. He's harder to defend. He's more slippery and mobile. And I know that Brunson's got the pump fakes and he can go left, he can go right, he can spin. He's just got this huge bag, right? And he can get his shot off, but not like SGA. All SGA has to do is come downhill on you. And if you're playing tight defense, he knows how to get in on you, tweet, I'm going to the line, Jordan style. Or if you're kind of sagging off me, I'm just going to pull up, and now I got a 10 or 12-foot baby wetter. I mean, that's automatic from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Coming downhill, slams on the brakes, defender goes away, just pop. I mean, it's a free throw for him at that point. Mm-hmm. So that's why I think, and SGA is wired for this. This is not new. Even on OKC's rise, right? You're watching OKC on League Pass. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander did it again. Another game winner, another bucket with 2.1 or a buzzer beater or, just free throws, but he has been flexing in the clutch for several years now. So I think he is the best clutch player in the game. He's the guy I would draw up the play for. Now, if I'm down 3, I'm not drawing up the play for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, right? Mm. To your point, Doc, I want Curry, I want Durant, I want Ant-Man, I want Devin Booker, I want one of those guys. But anyway, good conversation, fellas. Let's move on here. Last night, again, another overtime game. Like I said, this gambling scandal is keeping us from talking hoops, and there's so much killer stuff to talk about. Nuggets at Warriors last night. Phenomenal game. 137 to 131. Warriors win in overtime. They're 2-0, folks. Steph Curry went ballistic. 42 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists. The night, Selly. To me, it's the greatest celebration in sports history. If you guys want to hit me with T.O. or Ocho Cinco or Icky Woods, like, I'm listening. I think it's easily the best Selly in NBA history. And I can't think of another. I do love a bat flip in baseball. I mean, I love an aggressive bat flip in baseball, or like a bat spike where it's like, if the guy knows it's gone, he just goes boom, like King Kong or something. I like that stuff. All right, Butler 21, 5, and 6. Green flirted with a triple-double. Aaron Gordon had 50 points. I didn't think that was possible, guys. And his career high was 41. I love Aaron Gordon. Reality guy, right? Awesome defender, makes tough shots, and lock sync with Jokic out of the dunker spot and all the little stuff they do in the paint. Like, I love it, right? But 50, the guy made 17 of 21 shots, 10 of 11 from downtown. Jokic had a triple-double. Murray was fantastic. The question is, guys, Dr. X, I go to you first on this. Is Stephen Curry the most entertaining NBA player?
I think so at this point. If you're just talking about the three-point shot, that just brings so much excitement. It just brings so much excitement to the game. And he looked like he celebrated a little bit more than he usually does. Like, he usually doesn't gloat throughout the game before it's like, with them having the lead. They have to have the lead first. He was gloating and they didn't have the lead yet. I think there was some three he did, and he did a little shimmy at the top of the key, and rightfully so. And he definitely does have the best celebration. I love the night sun. I love that. And it's also classic because when it first came about, it was in the finals where he actually finally won finals MVP. So it kind of cemented that whole thing. And then now you have other people on his team that do it. And I love that no one else is doing the night sign. It's only special to him. And I think Draymond will do it. Some other people on the bench will do it, but no other team, no other player does it. So I like that. But yeah, I think Curry is the most exciting player in terms of three-point shot, but dunk-wise, I'm going to have to give the edge to John Morant, especially that dunk he pulled last year against the Celtics.
Good call on John Morant, man. We don't see enough of John Morant, though. Dr. Phil McDonald, Dr. X Prime Time on Instagram, right? We just don't see enough of John Morant. I want to add some sarcasm here right now because when Kai and Jason, our great producers, put up the picture, it just took me to Tyrese Halliburton. And I love Tyrese Halliburton. I'm not hating at all. I'm trying to be, kind of sarcastic here. But Tyrese Halliburton has sort of like borrowed Reggie Miller's throat slash, right? Right?
Yeah.
Borrowed. Okay. Borrowed. I'm trying to be nice here. Tyrese Halliburton has borrowed the Dame time thing, right? Especially when he's playing against Dame, which, by the way, is so gangster. And I love that stuff. Is Halliburton going to steal the night Celtics?
You better not. I don't think you have an opportunity to. They have to get to the finals.
Or is it hands off because it's Steph, Doc? Is it just hand? That's Steph, man. I can't steal his.
It should be, unless it's out of respect or just a random regular season game and he hits a game winner against Steph. Yeah, that would be funny. I think Steph's got to be ready for that. Someone's going to do it.
Dwight, come on in here, man.
No, listen. Steph Curry deserves to do whatever he wants to do. I'm on several group chats, as everybody knows, and on one of them, I said sometimes it just looks like Steph chucks up a shot and it still goes in. But I respect it so much because it's the work ethic, it's practice. Like, this is what Mark Jackson was talking about when he said that Steph Curry was going to be bad for the game of basketball. It wasn't a shot. It was just that he understands that whatever Steph does, young people are going to try to mimic, not fully understanding that the reason Steph can make these shots is because he practices all the time. It's the behind the scenes stuff. So listen, If anybody wants to mimic what Steph Curry does in terms of celebrations and other stuff, go right ahead. But I have so much respect for Steph Curry and what he's doing. And Phil, the reason why you see him celebrating so much, they haven't been spoken about. And I sent you a text several weeks ago talking about don't sleep on the Warriors. And I think the Warriors collectively are playing with a chip on their shoulder. They're not ready to pass the torch just yet to the young people. Yes, the Oklahoma City Thunder won the championship last season. And, as the youngest team since the 77 Portland Trailblazers led by the late, great Bill Walton back then to win a championship. But there was a reason as to why Mike Dunleavy Jr. and the Golden State Warriors front office assembled this aging-laden team who have a bunch of champions on them. Not Jimmy Butler, not included, but he plays with a championship chip on his shoulder. These guys they have something to prove this season, and I think Steph Curry is at the top of that list, and that's why you see him playing with such fervor, such electricity, such heart. He is a motivated player once again, and a motivated player, already a four-time champion, is a dangerous player as far as I'm concerned. And that's why you're seeing Steph playing with such enthusiasm. The second game within the season already, he's using the night-night. And other players want to use it, but they don't deserve to use it because Steph is that dude. Steph is that man. And if there's one team I'm going to be watching this season, paying a lot of attention to, it's the Golden State Warriors and Steph Curry in particular, who is going to quietly, if I can say that, quietly put his name into the MVP conversation this season. They understand how important it is in a congested and competitive Western Conference to get off to a good start. And Steph Curry is the leader of that train, and he's going to make sure that everybody, whether they be the young Podziemski, the young Kuminga, Will Richard, who is putting himself into the mix, because he doesn't have to worry about Draymond and Al Horford and Jimmy Butler and the other vets on that roster. Steph is going to lead that train, and he's going to quietly put himself into the MVP conversation this year. And the Warriors, when healthy, are going to be a scary proposition for any Western Conference playoff team because of Steph Curry and that band of experienced championship players.
Dwight, you demand. AM, is Steph the most entertaining player in the NBA?
To unpack here, because we just discussed so many different things. So let me take this a little bit one at a time. No disrespect to Halliburton, don't want to kick a man while he's down, but he is not cold-blooded enough to get the chokehold. I'm taking that back from him. And I want to say this about the night-night. Yes, it is the absolute best celebration in NBA history, by the way, at least in this league. And it just beats out Dikembe Mutombo's finger wag. It's close. It's close, but I'm definitely going with Curry. Is he the most entertaining player? No, he's not. And, Doc, you took it away. I thought I was going to have the floor with it, Ja Morant, and I got to tell you, it's not even close. When Ja Morant is on the court and healthy, come on now. I don't care where I am. I'm running to a bar. I'm stopping what I'm doing. I'm getting anywhere I can in front of a television. If he's having a night, I want to see Ja Morant. He is beyond electrifying. Everywhere he is on the court. It's crazy. And again, no disrespect to Steph Curry, who, of course, we've loved for a long time and will continue to love. And I'm in awe that here we are in age. I think he's 38 years old in what he's doing. And if I could follow up with that, and I'm sorry to say, Dwight, and you can come at me for this as well, but I'm selling stock in the Golden State Warriors this year. You're not getting me. You're not getting me to believe in your three guys core, 36, 37, 38 years old. Al Horford is gonna keep this up at 39 years old, going into 40 years old. Buddy Hield, who's now 32, who by the way has had a really solid start to the season with 2 games, but I think one or two of those guys go down for a long period of time, and you're just not going to have enough behind it, Jonathan Kuminga or not, to get this done and over the hump over an 82 game season. But sure, to start the season, to see these guys still doing it and play with the chip on their shoulders for the first 2 games, it's been pretty cool.
Brandon Armstrong, aka B Dot, has joined the party here on Beyond the Surface. We are here on the X-Rated Sports Network. B Dot, what's up, man?
How you doing, man? How you doing? Everything good?
We're chilling, man. We're chilling. So we'll bring into the question we have right now. Is Stephen Curry the most entertaining player in the NBA?
Oh, man, by far now, he's been the most entertaining person in the NBA for the last 15 years. Like, come on, man. Somebody at that height, you feel me, came from Davidson, a mid-major college, to have the career that he's had now, like, it's nothing more than entertaining. You know, it's like, are you not entertained? He's 35 plus out there, had 8 points, not even 8 points, had 5 points dang near at halftime, 8 total PRA. And trust me, I know, because I betted on him for prize picks. And then next thing you know, the man ended up with 35. Like, they down to, he just missed the layup where he should have made the layup for them to get the lead. And then next you know, he come off the screen and hit the game tying 3 and lets people know, like, I'm still here. Like, I'm not going nowhere. I'm still the person that changed the game, and I'm the most entertaining person. And don't forget, I was 2-time unanimous MVP. Stop playing with me. Put some respect on my name.
I love it. All right, so I haven't answered this question yet. I'll take you back. I'm a Showtime Laker fan, right? My teenage years were in the 80s. So Magic Johnson's my favorite athlete of all time. Saw the championship game with him and Bird. I'm like, who is that guy? Because my dad was a football guy. I had to find basketball on my own. I'm like, who is that guy? I love that guy. Long arms, long legs, huge smile, throwing balls around, like just dominating. I was like, okay, I like this basketball thing. I'm going to follow that dude. And so huge Laker fan. The Showtime Lakers are the most entertaining basketball team, I believe, of all time. The second most is the Klay Thompson and Draymond Green, and of course Steph Curry, and then Durant, all the guys that they've had. That team was super entertaining. Style of play, Steve Kerr, ball movement, man movement, like, it's just elegant and awesome, right? And super entertaining. But and I do like you guys bringing up Ja Morant, because I do get a kick out of him going literally to the penthouse and dunking on Jakob Poeltl. I love that stuff. But I ooh and ah. What makes me go, oh, come on, is ridiculous shot making. More so than a dunk like that. A dunk like that, like, maybe makes me like, oh, like get a mean face or something. But like Steph, like last night, guys, Draymond's out setting a screen, I think on Jokic, I can't remember. But it was that shot from about 30 feet where he came down afterward and was like flexing and saying, I got guns. I'll take you to the gun show today. Remember back in the day when he was spindly? He ain't spindly anymore, and he hasn't been for years. But like that shot, I was like, oh, come on. Are you sick? Because Dwight, he just flicked it. Like, dude, he had to get it up high. He flicked it. It's like 30 feet out splash. Like, ridiculous, right? Doc, you mentioned the top of the key where he did the little shoulder shimmy, right? This is all entertaining stuff. He'll hit a baseline 3, and as the ball's in the air, he'll turn around to the opposing bench and give them a little shimmy. Doesn't even watch the dang ball go in, okay? This is Harlem Globetrotter stuff in a game. I just, so to me, he's the most entertaining guy that we have in the game. So, B-Dot, let's get you caught up a little bit here. Okay, how are you processing the betting scandal in the NBA right now? If you don't want to answer, if you don't want to go there, that's cool. But like, we started the show, we spent about 40 minutes on it. So I'm just curious if you got a take on that.
I mean, you know, it's a crazy topic, you know. I mean, it sucks that it's happening. And I have no excuse for, you know, anybody that's implicated or been arrested. But it's kind of hard to, you know, get past, because if the game comes on at 7 p.m. and it's sponsored by ESPN Bet, but then we have a commercial for DraftKings, who has the special NBA percentage that they want to boost up, and then from that commercial it goes to FanDuel. Adam Silver has just signed a deal with FanDuel. With every sports book that we talk about or we know of is connected somehow to the NBA. And I'm saying this, you know, is right. You shouldn't, rig any games, but it's in our face. It's in their face 24/7. But I mean, as a responsibility, as a grown man, and you sign a contract to not do any type of tampering. I'm not talking about the tampering of throwing games, but in terms of betting on yourself, like I mean, it's tough not to, but with the referees throwing games and the Scott Foster, it's kind of all making sense. Like that's the thing that gets to me. Of course, the player throwing games, that's that's very bad in general. Unless it has like a big effect, like the Terry Rozier, like that's tough because Terry's not that. He's not a LeBron. He's not a KD. Now, if we hear these guys, Steph Curry, or we hear Kevin Durant, Anthony Edwards, have implication of throwing games or doing prop betting, and then that's what we're gonna be like because they have major, major impact on winning or losing the game. Not saying Terry Rozier doesn't, but he averaged 19 minutes a game. So, but the with the officials being there, Chauncey Billups, I don't know, was the Chauncey one had to do anything with the NBA, or was it just preferably him something with the mafia and him betting with the mafia? I don't think he was like changing games or anything, was it?
That remains to be seen, Dot. That
Okay.
remains to be seen.
Okay.
So we're gonna find out.
But in terms of the referees and yeah, that's the worst. Because we had the whole thing with Bill Donahue a while back, and now Scott Foster and his his hate relationship with Chris Paul and just with a lot of players in general. That's what grinds my gears right there. Is the referees throwing the games, altering the games where we just want the two best teams to have the two best games and the two best chances to win. So that's probably that's how I feel on it.
I do, if I can
Man.
step in here, we got to be careful, Dot. I understand you've mentioned Scott Foster's name several times. I'm not sure if he was implicated. I think Tim Donaghy tried to bring Scott Foster's name into it. I think Scott Foster would have been dealt with by the NBA had they had evidence that he did anything
Mhm.
wrong in terms of his refereeing in games or having determined any games underhandedly. Now, I know why you've used his name, but I think it's more Tim Donaghy that has brought Scott Foster's name into this. So I think we need to be careful when
Mhm.
we say that kind of stuff.
No, 100%. I'm not saying that, I'm just saying his name was brought up in
Mhm.
terms of
Yes, yes,
implications. They're going
okay.
to be doing research and,
Yes.
doing their research wanted to see if he had any effect. I'm saying if that is true or any
Hmm.
any other officials that have been, that just that sucks for the game in general
Yeah,
because you alternating wins, especially in the playoffs, the finals. It's
no
like
question.
it changes a lot of players' legacies and messes with a lot of coaches'
Mhm.
legacies in general, and it puts a bad look on the NBA.
No question.
It's Beyond the Surface on the X-Rated Sports Network. Rick Kamla, Dr. Phil McDonald, a.k.a. Dr. X, A.M. Pfeffer, Dwight Walton, and we're joined by Brandon Armstrong, a.k.a. B-Dot. B-Dot, you got a favorite viral moment? You got a rant for us here, man? What's up?
Ah man, look, man. But my probably favorite viral moment was let's go ahead and give him his flowers right now. My guy M- I played for Baylor, now plays for the 76ers. I don't want to get his name. I don't want to mess his name up. The rookie,
BJ
yeah,
and
yeah,
Stone.
VJ, yeah, VJ, and I don't want to get his last name wrong. Man,
Edge call.
let's go ahead and get that guy. Man, come on now, 34 game high with Joel Embiid. He just having a picnic, chilling, and for them to pull out the game, you know, it, him and Maxi, for him to pull out the game. Now I'm looking like, okay, if Embiid gets healthy and start playing, this team really can do something. But then Paul George comes back into the factor. So what do we do with Paul George now? Do we keep him on the roster, or do we let him take
Yes.
shots from the rookie, or do we try to package him for something? I don't know what you're going to get from him because he hasn't been the same in the past 5 years. So I feel as though if Paul George comes back healthy, he takes that pressure off VJ, I don't even think VJ has pressure. I think he's going to get easier shots because more attention is going to be now on Paul George and Joel Embiid as they keep going. And Tyrese Maxey, come on, man. That's a bad man. That's a bad man. So I love the Sixers young core. And that's probably like my rant, my viral moment is that rookie, that Jimmy Butler, Michael Jordan is guy that they like to put their comparison. Um, just want to give him his flowers right then and now. And Wemby, we won't even talk about Wemby. If he stays healthy, he's a cheat code. I think I seen a tweet. Someone said they need to pay Wemby 5 years, $1 billion in cash. And because come on, you just blocked.
That was
Come on,
Pert.
man, what you just blocked the dude's shot, came down, curl, cross, pull back, step back into an N-1-3. And one thing I did notice which scared me was his shoes. If you notice, he twisted his ankle every time. I don't know if you guys noticed, but from one move to the other, his ankle was turning over each time, and that's the one thing I'm worried about. For somebody that height, they gotta get him better shoes. But I'm not wishing any harm or anything, but that's just something that needs to take notice. But other than that, that guy is out of this world. Like, come on, man. 40 and 15 is yeah. We forget Jokic for MVP, forget Shea, forget all of them. Wemby might take the sweep for most improved, defensive player of the year, MVP, and then let him come off the bench for 12 games so he can get a 6-man too. Like, so that's my rant, man. I don't know where they made that man at. Good.
Yeah. Definitely in
And
the
I'll tell you
lab,
what,
man.
in the
Definitely
same
in the
lab,
lab.
in the same lab that they made the Thompson twins. That's where they made Wemby.
Yeah.
The same lab that they made the Thompson twins. 6'7", 215. They jump out of the gym. They run like the wind. I love the Thompson twins.
Zion and John Morant too. Those two as well.
Great point,
Yep.
man. Great point. Well, B-Dub, thanks for dropping by, man. We appreciate you.
No, 100%. Thanks for having me, man. You know, I love coming in, man. You know, giving my little takes and giving my 2 cents and seeing my guys, man. It's always good to see you guys.
My
No
God,
doubt,
B-Dot.
Doc.
Thank you, brother.
It is, boss.
All right, man. Y'all have a great rest of the show, man. See you guys soon.
Yep.
All right, B-Dot, be good, man. Brandon Armstrong, it's perfect segue. B-Dot took us right to, I just want to talk about some of these big games, right? And so we talked about the Thursday. Let's go back to Wednesday night. Still fresh in our mind. Bam, Wemby. What else are we going to start with from Wednesday? I know Doc's like, the Knicks win over the Cavs. Duh. All right. So we're getting to that next. But the Spurs, you guys, I'm watching this game, and I'm like, I'm not high on Dallas this year. I think they're around a 500 team, right? I don't think they suck. I'm just not high on them, right? But my goodness, 125-92 in your home opener against a hated rival. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? They let go of the rope. They completely quit in this game. How do you quit in the first game of the year? So that was shocking to me. Wemby goes 40, 15, 3 blocks, goodies. Stephon Castle, 22, 7, and 6. He was fantastic. Cooper Flagg got a dub, but it was grimy. 4 of 13, didn't do a whole lot else. So let's ask this to you guys. AM Pfeffer, you first, man, here on X-Rated Sports Network Beyond the Surface. Is Wemby your first pick to start a franchise?
Yeah, absolutely. At this point, and with his age and his capacity to be an otherworldly star, which I think he's still 1 to possibly 2 years away. I always believed from the minute he got into the league that you're going to see a guy at some point averaging 42, possibly 45 points a game, close to 14, 15 rebounds. It's going to happen. We're going to look at him and just at some point when he's 26, 27, maybe all the way to 30 years old for a 4 or 5 year stretch, assuming he stays healthy, knock on everything around me here, that he is the guy. There's no question. You're going to start a franchise with him, and you're going to just look in awe at his numbers, at his stat line on a consistent basis. At some point, to watch Jokic right now, and to see the triple double is exciting. To see what Wemby's going to have someday, it's just going to be otherworldly.
All right, Dr. X, come on in here.
Mm-hmm.
Is Wemby your first pick if you're starting a franchise, or are you going with somebody else?
Well, are you talking about available players?
Yeah, like the
Or
whole
like
league.
ever, like Chamberlain, Jordan.
Yeah, just right now. You could go to college if you want. I haven't scouted that, but
guys.
like who's in the NBA? Who's
Yeah.
in the NBA right now? We're picking teams here. You're on the clock. Who are you going with?
Oh, hands down, Wemby. Yeah, of course. Of course. There's no doubt. I mean, he's kind of like the second coming of Wilt Chamberlain, but with a bag of KD.
Nice.
And that right there is pretty much unstoppable. hope his percentages eventually go up to like what KD is doing. I think when he first came in the league, he looked like he was like a giraffe that was just born. And almost like those videos that you see when he's a little kid. They're so cute, him running around, being frustrated, bouncing the ball really hard, it hits him in the face. That was the Wemby we saw for the first year. Like, he had the blocks, he had a lot of highlights, but his teammates weren't really looking for him. I hate to say that some of his teammates were hating on him, but
I
I felt
agree.
like they were trying to make a name for themselves as well. They're all young players,
Right.
but it's like they didn't get the scouting report, or they didn't get the memo. Like, he's Victor Wembanyama, pass him the ball, throw him a lob, get him in position. It's like the coach Popovich was taking him out, kind of like putting him through that gauntlet of just like prove yourself. I feel like year three, he's that dude. And I hope it's not just, thank God it was against someone like AD. So we can't say, oh, they don't have a good defensive team. This is a very good defensive team. Anthony Davis. And I just felt like he has that dog in him. I don't know what happened over the summer, him getting the blood clot, which made him think that, he had to come back with vengeance, and doing the whole monk thing, and with that Eastern medicine, just really just getting locked into the new Wemby. And he started putting on some more muscle fibers are coming in, starting to see his tricep a bit. And I mean, this guy, this apex could be like how you might, if I already said Wilt Chamberlain and KD, but add Giannis to that. Remember baby Giannis to Giannis now? The shoulders, the arms, once that comes in, it's going to be hard to stop Wemby. Like a Wemby going downhill with a Giannis type body, you're probably going to move out the way.
Forget about it, as they say out in the East. Dwight, first pick for you, Wemby?
Oh, without question. And listen, this X-Rated Sports Network, we started this off a couple of years ago, and we spoke about the San Antonio Spurs. And I was saying then that if Victor Wembanyama, to Phil's point about the baby giraffe, that's how he looked when he first came into the league. All I said was, if this man stays healthy, within the next 5 to 10 years, the Spurs are going to win multiple championships. That was before his rookie year. I think that we might have to expedite that process. What we're seeing now, and I don't think he's Wilt-like nor Shaq-like yet, but I like the comparison to Giannis Antetokounmpo, to where Giannis, when he first came in, was, dangly and scrawny, but you see him now, how much he's built himself up. I don't think Wemby will get to that point, but he will definitely get stronger. But if you want to include Wilt and Wemby into a comparison here, for one thing, it quite possible he might, talking about Victor Wembanyama, he may be the next guy to score 100 points in a basketball game. I think he's that unguardable. And to AM's point, he might average 40 to 45 in a season coming up here. And if he does that, we're going to see an 80-point game, a 90-point game, and possibly a 100-point game. Now, fans out there, don't kill me. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I think he has the potential to be the next man, the next player to score 100 points in an NBA game. I said it on social media the other night. For the foreseeable future, the San Antonio Spurs need to have the most nationally televised games from the NBA office. They're must-see TV. Wembanyama is must-watch TV. His young core around him, Stephen Castle, Dylan Harper, Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson. De'Aaron Fox hasn't even played for the Spurs yet, not last season nor this season. And I know they just signed up to that Supermax deal and they acquired him in the trade, but is De'Aaron Fox going to be on the trade market? Just based off of what we saw on that first night, Dylan Harper has already acclimatized himself to the NBA. Stephen Castle is a dog. If you watch this guy play on both ends of the floor, he is magnificent. His motor, particularly defensively, that is sustainable for an NBA career. The young core with this, for Jeremy Sohan, who didn't even play the other night, is also on that bench right now. The Spurs are up and coming. Free agents are going to want to play there because of the spectacular play and the transcendent play of Victor Wembanyama. They're going to be in the championship mix. Could it be this year? I don't know, but for the foreseeable future, most definitely.
All right, guys, we're asking the question here. First pick to start a franchise, you're going with Victor Wembanyama. I thought this might be somewhat debatable. It clearly is not. I'm getting a lot of without question. But I'm glad we're having this conversation so we can cement this and know this and take inventory of everybody. Guys, I have a thing, I'm a big fantasy basketball guy. I have a thing called the Wemby meter. Okay, the Wemby meter is a 3-pack of stats, the most important stats in fantasy basketball. That's blocks, steals, and threes. All right, points, rebounds, assists, they're important as well. They're not as important because of statistical scarcity, right? 20-point, there's more 20-point scorers than 2 block per game guys. It's just simple math. So Wemby last year had a Wemby meter of 8. That's never happened before. Nobody's ever even come close to that. He was at 3.8 blocks, like 1.1 steals, and like 3.1 threes. The guy blocked 4 shots and hit 3 threes every night. What? I didn't really even think that was possible by a human being. So he's in a spaceship right now. He's taking us to another universe of basketball. We've never seen this before. I'm not going to say we'll never see it again. That would be stupid. But we've never even come close to seeing this before. You think about the great shot blockers and three-point shooting combinations, right? Porzingis, Brook Lopez, Miles Turner. These guys are Jaren Jackson Jr. These guys are fantastic. I love them. They're looking up at Wemby like, dude, I can't touch that. Okay. And he's young. And one of you, I think Dr. X might have said the dog in Wemby. All right, I've got a dog detector, and Dwight, I know you do. I already know you're a dog, former player, but just working with you, I can already tell you got a ton of dog in you. Doc's got a ton of dog in him, and so I got this dog detector. Listening to Wemby is not, he's not just a dog. He's a Rottweiler. Okay. He wants to crush you. He does not want to be your friend. He doesn't hang around afterward for a bunch of dap. He leaves, especially after a loss. He gets really salty. Do you guys remember in the All-Star game last year when Alpi Şengün let a guy score and Wemby's team lost? And Wemby was pissed at Şengün in a All-Star game that nobody watches or cares about anymore. And Wemby was literally like, I wouldn't say mad, it's probably too strong, but he like shot him a look and was like, oh, come on, are you kidding me right now? And then, he went and did Wemby stuff. But I love that. Okay, this is an exhibition. That obviously Şengün didn't care about it. Nobody in America cares about the NBA All-Star game anymore. But he wants to be great. He wants many, many, many championships. And he's connecting the dots to doing that. So it's not just we've never seen a freakazoid like Wemby before. He's got the intangibles to go with the tangibles, which is how you become a champion. You can't have the intangibles. I mean, you can be a role player and stuff like that, but if you're a star level player and you have the tangibles, but you don't have the intangibles, you're not going to win a ring. Okay. Luka Doncic. I think his intangibles are largely awful. All right. The yelling at the ref, not fighting through injuries, in my opinion, as much, like little nagging stuff. Right. He fell way out of shape. Right. And when you fall out of shape, you lose concentration. You can't move as well. You're a terrible defensive player. You're the pigeon on every single play for the opposing offense. He's changing that. Anthony Edwards, to me, has great intangibles, guys, but they need to get better. They need to get more killer. Right. I think Ant-Man's still young and he's still, how do I say this? He's mature, but he's not mature enough yet, if that makes sense. Right. And he's 23. This is going to happen. Ant-Man's going to be a champion, but he's still working on his intangibles. But he's got the dog in him. He's got the drive to be great. He's got the hard work. He's got all that stuff. He just needs to really fine tune it now. A la Michael, a la Kobe. It took them a minute to figure it out and crack that code. But Victor Wembanyama is the guy I would start a franchise with right now. So, fellas, let's talk Cooper Flagg. I was joking yesterday at our production meeting with Doc and Jason and Kai. It was talk in the preseason. It was even talk at Summer League from Jason Kidd. We're going to put the ball in his hands. We're going to make him a point guard. And Dwight, I want to go to you first on this. Cooper Flagg, who I love, I'm not dissing the kid, okay? Started at point guard in game one. Dwight and Doc and AM and our great audience. He had 0 assists, not one. Okay, now I'm looking through a telescope right now. I don't see any assists. Okay, and he had 3 turnovers. And I'm watching the game. I didn't even really see him bring the ball up that much. So Dwight, what is up with this Cooper Flagg point guard thing, man?
Well, while all those points you just made are true, we have to understand Cooper Flagg is still 18 years old. He will not be 19 for a couple of months from now. I just think Jason Kidd, a point guard, a great point guard in his awesome career, I just think he sees similarities into the idea of when he was the head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks, to where he had Giannis Antetokounmpo as a point guard. He flirted with that idea. I think it forced Giannis to become a better ball handler, especially a better decision maker off the dribble. It's still not a strength. He has gotten much better at it. But I think the experiment of putting the ball in Cooper Flagg is a good one. But we have to give Cooper some grace. It was his first NBA game. He did shoot 4 for 13. But you can see the IQ on both ends of the court. You can see the potential. You can see the greatness that he will display over the course of his career. But again, it is tough to judge a player who is 18 years old, playing in the best league in the world. All eyes are on him. He is being targeted on both ends of the floor. They want all the players in the league are like, you know what? We know who you are, but you got to prove it in between these lines, in between on the basketball court here. So again, I think he did relatively well for a first game in the league. Of course, we expect more because of all the ballyhoo that he came in to the NBA with, the most prized recruit coming into the NBA, North American player since LeBron James. So let's cut him some slack. He will get better. He won't have another donut assist game in the NBA, I don't think. But there's a lot for him to process. He is more than capable of doing what Jason Kidd eventually envisions him doing, and he will do it over the course of his career. But it's early yet. Again, he doesn't turn 19, I believe, until December. So let's cut him some slack.
Dr. X, you're up next.
I was shocked that when I checked the score, because there were so many games going on, and I saw that I felt bad for him at first, and then just looking at the highlights and what some of the other pundits were saying, they were saying the Wemby effect. It totally affected how he's thinking, and then they're with the Spurs. I have to see a little bit more to see if they're a good defensive team, but the Wemby effect changes everything. Just you're always looking behind you. You're always, even when he got that one highlight you saw when he got to the rim and Wemby just jumped straight up, you're just just think about when you're playing against guys that are much bigger, faster, and stronger than you, it alters your game. But I'm not worried because even with all of that, he had a double-double. So he played within himself. He played within the flow of the game. He let the game come to him. He wasn't panicking. And then you just got to think about the fact that this is not Jason Kidd's first rodeo. Like, he's done this experiment and has been successful and probably unlocked the talent that we love so much about Giannis Antetokounmpo. He put him at point guard. The baby giraffe Giannis version was playing point guard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it looked so funny at first. I think he was rocking red sneakers back then, and his jersey always looks oversized. That was the Giannis that was playing point guard at one point. And I remember we were playing fantasy, and everybody was jumping on, and Giannis is playing point guard, and he was doing pretty good. So he's just throwing him into the fire, and that's the best thing you can do for anybody. Where there's nothing to lose. Kyrie's out. He already said it from the beginning of the season. You're going to be the point guard. He's listed as point guard in the fantasy stuff. So I think it can only unlock his career because I think, Dwight, you brought up a great point back in I think last year when you were talking about the Lakers. They had shot creators, right? You have Reeves, you have Luca, and you have LeBron, all shot creators. So what he's now forcing um, Cooper Flagg to do is become a shot creator for himself, but as well as for others. And he's what, 6'9". He's already a good defender. All the intangibles, he can shoot. He's a good rebounder. Like, you can't teach rebounding. You can. That's a stat that when you look at that stat, if someone can rebound in any league, you're probably a pretty good rebounder. So for him to have 10 rebounds in his first NBA game, that's the takeaway right there for me.
I love it. AM, come on in here, man. Is Cooper Flagg a point guard to you? Talk about this. Is it an experiment? Do you think it'll work? Take us into your thoughts on this.
Yeah, I mean, I love everything that Dr. X just said about it as well. Look, point guard in name only, right? Just like Draymond Green's a center in name only. This is a league now where you can get away with things like this. Point forward is obviously a much better description of what we're talking about here. Putting him there game one and just seeing what he would do with the ball in his hands, you got your answer. 0 assists. He also had, I believe, 0 points in the first half until the game was way out of hand, and then he got his double-double, whatever it is. I mean, this is a bigger conversation about the Mavericks themselves. I mean, you alluded to it earlier in the show, Rick, that this is maybe a team hovering around 500, especially without Kyrie. They're a team, on an island, lost adrift in the Pacific. And now that Luka's out of town and they're trying to find who they are. I mean, Anthony Davis is your guy who's captaining and steering everything. I mean, he's the guy who's got to go out there and put it. You talk about 40 points. He's better put up 40 and 20 every night, or you don't have much going on that team right now. But if you want to put Cooper Flagg there and let him handle the ball and let him, take the rock and matriculate the offense in so many different ways, sure. I'm not for it. I'm not against it. He's certainly not a point guard, but the more he has the ball in his hands, the faster he gets to mature on the court, the more involved he is, the better the Dallas Mavericks are going to be sooner than later. So I'm good with it.
Beyond the Surface, X-Rated Sports Network. These guys, right? These guys. I mean, you guys just continue to hit home runs. You're cranking them out like Judge right now. I agree with putting Flagg on the ball right now. I like throwing him into the fire, sink or swim. He's got the talent and the moxie to do it, right? It's not like, you're not asking. I'm trying to come up with it. You're not asking Onyeka Okongwu to be your point guard, right? Like, I love Okongwu. I'm just saying, like, he has no point guard in him at all, right? And Flagg is not a point guard, all right? But Kyrie's out. So why not get a little creative? Why not think outside the box? Jason Kidd's one of the great think outside the box coaches that we have right now. Very few coaches in the NBA today think outside the box. It's all standard and in the box, right? Jason Kidd is very positionless. Not as positionless as Eric Spoelstra down in Miami. They are the kings of positionless basketball. But Jason Kidd's right there with that. He's not a point guard. He, to AM's point, at best will be a point forward, right? Which, if he's at 5 assists, 6 assists, something like that, right? Kind of like a Scotty Barnes up in Toronto, right? Who reminds me a lot of Scottie Pippen. He's got that full stat line game, does everything on the court. I project this year for Flagg 20 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. That's my fantasy projection for him. He'll have over a block, over a steal, over a 3. I think he's going to be a fantastic fantasy guy. But he's not a point guard. And in this league, right, where, you've got Kyrie and Morant and SJ and all these guys. He can't hang with those guys. He can't run around and check them. He just can't. He doesn't have the body type for it. He doesn't have the lateral movement for that. So get him used, Dwight, I loved what you said about decision-making. It's that, and for a young guy, head maybe swimming a little bit right now, got a lot coming at him, right? He's played one game, and you got drilled by 800 points. So he's going to learn a ton from this. I don't think it's a bad experiment. Like, do you guys remember when Greg Popovich started that season with Jeremy Sohan at point guard? That was a disaster. Yeah. Okay. Pop was starting to lose his way a little bit with that decision. Okay. And I did not like how Pop deployed Wemby as a rookie either. And Doc, I think you talked about that. Shoot, feels like yesterday. But I love Cooper Flagg. I think he's heading to Springfield one day, guys, right? Like, I think this is a Hall of Fame level player. I don't think that's a hot take at all. He's a generational talent. I mean, we're geeked about Flagg like we were geeked about Wemby and LeBron and Shaq and Duncan and Iverson and all these guys. Flagg, LeBron, Zion. Flagg is at that level coming in. So anyway, but not a point guard. Now, guys, let's move on here and talk about the New York Knicks victory over the Cleveland Cavaliers on Wednesday. AM, I have not hit you with the rock first rondo style, so I'm going to hit you first with this. Obviously, the Knicks played without Josh Hart and Mitchell Robinson. And to me, good win for them, right? 119 to 111. Not a statement win because Cleveland was playing without 2.5 starters, Darius Garland, Max Strus, and DeAndre Hunter. I say 2.5 because Strus and Hunter kind of share that one spot. So nobody did anything great statistically. I want to shout out Karl Anthony Towns for playing through a grade 2 quad strain. Okay. In the Minnesota days, Cat would not have done that. All right. I think the New York City thing and that pulsation and the pressure. I got to talk like New Yorker, the pressure. Okay. Cause y'all don't say the R's at the end of words and I love it. It's charming.
Yeah, y'all just throwing a y'all in there in New York is perfect. There you go.
But the pressure of Manhattan. So anyway, I love that Cat is like he did it last year, right? All these like little injuries kept playing through it. All right, AM, are the Knicks the team to beat in the Eastern Conference?
No, Cleveland's still the team to beat in the Eastern Conference.
Really? Wow. Okay.
Yeah. What's the next question?
And AM is a homer too. He's from
I'm
New York.
a homer. I'm a Knicks fan.
New York.
Cleveland's the team to beat.
Wow. Okay. So Dr. X, you next, man. Are the Knicks the team to beat? And AM, to your point, Cleveland is deep. They are deep. I'll give you my answer in a minute. Dr. X, are the Knicks the team to beat in the Eastern Conference?
They are only because of the hype all summer, but just like AM, like and you know what's good about what I'm about to say is that the Knicks feel the same way. They're not taking any team for granted. They're not taking the Bucks for granted. They're not taking the Pacers without Tyrese Halliburton for granted because that's a whole system that the Pacers run over there. They're like the new age Spurs, you know? So it's the system that makes them a tough team. So we're not taking anybody for granted, but I think Cleveland, as you know, they're missing their key starters, and DeAndre Hunter is a bucket getter, plays great defense, and then you're missing Max Strus, also a hard-nosed defender, great shooter, and then everybody's talking about Darius Garland being the glue to making that offense pop. And then you saw what Donovan Mitchell did in the third quarter. So you add that with some playoff pressure. I would just say if I'm a Cleveland Cavalier fan, the thing I'm worried about is Evan Mobley doesn't have that dog, and neither does Jared Allen, because I felt like he disappeared. I was like, where's Jared Allen this whole game? I forgot that he was out there. If it weren't for the fro, I would have known that he was there. Like he literally barely got, I don't even think he had 10 rebounds. And that's the same Jared Allen that showed up when the Knicks played him in the playoffs, I think 2 years ago or 3 years ago when they beat him pretty handedly. So I think the Knicks are the team to beat only because we also beefed up our roster. It doesn't look good right now in terms of our bench players. Like I think Gershon Yabusele had about 0 points. It looked like, I don't want to put this out there, but it looked like, I can kind of read that basketball language. It looked like Jordan Clarkson was on the verge of pouting, sitting at the end of the bench, didn't know his role, only got in for a couple spot minutes, and then next thing you know, they throw him in the game. He went out to the tunnel, because I was literally at the game, sitting at the tunnel where the Cleveland Cavaliers going to. So it looked like every time they were about to put a player in, they would disappear off the bench, almost like they hit like the cycle and try to get their muscles up warm and get, because they knew they're about to go in. And with all that running, you can't just like get off from being cold on the bench and start running like that. So Clarkson didn't really have impact. He shot 7 times, bad shots, closely guarded. He had one good moment, and I think there was one good pass he gave to Cat where he had to end one. But I'm encouraged that the Knicks are the team to beat, but I'm not satisfied with that. I'm not satisfied with getting a participation trophy for showing up at the finals, knowing that we have no chance. If you listen to everybody talk, there always this undercurrent. Yeah, they're going to get to the finals. They should get to the finals, but no one's saying they're going to win it. And so that's not good enough for me as a Knicks fan. It's great to be in the finals, but we've been in the finals before. We need to win it and be the favorite.
My response, Rick, the Knicks better be the favorites to win it this season. You fired Tom Thibodeau for a reason, whether it's because the owner didn't like Tom, did some of the players voice their displeasure with Tom. Whatever the case is, they had the most success in Knicks history since 1994 under the tutelage of Tom Thibodeau. So now Mike Brown comes in and has all of this pressure to where, at the very least, the floor is 50 wins. The floor is getting back to the Eastern Conference Finals. And then when you bring in a new head coach and the media and the fans in New York are not very patient, they're going to be looking at you to get past the Eastern Conference Finals and get into the finals. Do they have the roster? And the thing is, we can have these hot takes after one game. There's still 81 more games to go, ladies and gentlemen. So when you're talking about defining roles and all this other stuff, it's one game. Mike Brown, it's his job now to figure out where to put Jordan Clarkson. Where is the best position to have Gershon Yabusele? Don't forget, Josh Hart nor Mitchell Robinson played in the first game. So there still is a lot to tinker with, a lot to figure out. You know what you're going to get from Jalen Brunson. You know what you're going to get from Mikal Bridges. You know what you're going to get from OG Anunoby. You know what you're going to get from Karl Anthony Towns. It's up to the supplementary players to fit in, and that's where Mike Brown has to come in and figure it out. I think Tyler Kolek pretty acclimatized himself to possibly being a part of the Knicks rotation going forward in this season. So is Mike Brown under pressure to play the ancillary players this season to appease the fans, to appease the front office? Or is he going to do right by that roster, figure out a strong 8-man rotation, and figure it out from there so when they do get to the playoffs, they can set themselves up accordingly to get to knock down that door and get to the NBA Finals? The Knicks are the favorite, whether there's injuries at the top of the Eastern Conference or not. To me, they are the favorites. But Cleveland, to me, they're right there, but they lack that toughness you guys are speaking about in terms of Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. There are injury woes. They have a more talented roster, as far as I'm concerned, than the Knicks do. But the Knicks are tough. They're gritty. They have that dog mentality. And it's New York City. So they need to knock the door down this season and get to the NBA Finals.
I do believe that the Knicks are the team to beat in the East. I didn't need to see what they did against Cleveland, right? And I know you guys didn't either. That was a chalky victory for New York. I mean, they're without Strus, Hunter, and Garland. You have to beat them. You have to. I know you don't have Robinson or High. It doesn't matter. You got to beat that team. All right, as shorthanded as they were. The bottom line here, guys, I think if you look on paper, Cavs roster versus Knicks roster, Cavs roster is really, really good. Yep. I think the Knicks with their offseason, getting Yabusele, getting Jordan Clarkson, I think, well, I said a healthy Mitchell Robinson, he just missed the first game. But I love New York's offseason, right? But Cleveland is a little deeper than New York. I'll give them that. I do like New York's heavy hitters more than I like Cleveland's heavy hitters, okay? And then it comes down to intangibles, right? Because it's a fair fight. It's a very fair fight between Cleveland and New York. It comes down to intangibles. That decides the fair fight. And the Knicks have way better intangibles. They have way more clutch. They have way more toughness. They have way more resolve. They're not going to let go of the rope when they're down 17 early in the third quarter like a lot of teams do. And I'm not saying Cleveland's one of those teams, but Cleveland, they have soft tendencies for me. You guys remember the playoff series against New York, Cleveland and New York a couple of years ago? New York was just tougher than them. And, the 50-50 balls, all that kind of stuff. So, all right, guys, let's move on. I want to hit you with a Rick's rant. It's going to be brief. It's about the Lakers. All right, going back to opening night. Rick's rant. J.J. Redick's rotation for the first game. What is he thinking? Okay, and then J.J. Redick cites bad third quarters is the reason that they lost. He wasn't wrong about that, but you're masking the math problem on this team, JJ. Just like last year, the Lakers lose shootouts because outside of their big three, it's a wasteland. All right, guy, and we know that LeBron didn't play, so now you have a big two, even more of a math problem. Buddy Hield almost matched the Laker bench. It was 18-17. Okay, one guy basically matched the Laker bench. That's really awful. When LeBron is out, it's Luka and Reeves against the world. They need more firepower to keep up. Like I said, the Lakers have this math problem. And Dalton Connect, I don't want to send him to the Hall of Fame. I don't even want to send him to the starting lineup. He has to play. He has to. He's a shot maker. He can get hot. He had 30-point games last year until he made some defensive mistakes and J.J. Redick gave up on him. Well, apparently J.J. Redick has like put him in a bunker and like he's not going to let him out. It's ridiculous. Not playing Dalton Connect to get shooting on the floor makes no sense to me. Redick, so think about this, guys. You started Gabe Vincent. Why? Oh, defense, a great defensive player. Who did he stop? No one. Golden State scored 120 freaking points. If you are in an 85-83 Mike Fratello-esque tussle, okay, play Gabe Vincent. Put Connect on the bench. When you're playing the Warriors with the greatest shooter of all time and all of these offensive weapons, and they're kicking your ass, you need to push a different button, bro. Your defense, JJ, obviously wasn't working. How about you, in case of emergency, break glass? We need a little heater off our bench. Go to Dalton Connect. Guys, so that's Rick's rant. And I'm not an anti-JJ Redick guy. He's a little arrogant for my liking. Okay. I think he wears arrogance on his sleeve. I mean, I think JJ probably, yeah, I'm arrogant. I mean, it's just kind of his deal, right? But I'm here for the JJ Redick thing. I'm not hating. I'm not, he can't coach. He needs to go back to broadcasting. He won 50 games as a rookie coach. Okay. Like the guy can coach, the guy can lead men. I think he's just completely screwing up his rotation right now. Dr. X, you up first on that. Where are you at with that?
I agree with that. Seems like they're still trying to figure things out. Rui Hachimura had a very underwhelming performance as well. I was shocked when I checked the box score not to see Dalton Connect play 0 minutes. And that's to your point, he had great games last year, phenomenal games. And I think Dwight, I'm going to send this to Dwight real quick because he brought up the point why he was even on the trade block. They kind of feel like Dalton Connect is a little bit of a space cadet. He doesn't get what JJ Redick is going to do or trying to do. He doesn't buy in to JJ's system. And I don't know, sometimes there's also a dynamic where Dalton's a shooter and JJ was a shooter. You know what I mean? So maybe he has a higher standard for Dalton being a quote unquote shooter, and he's just not reaching that that apex of talent or that apex of just understanding his system that he needs him to have. And so I think that's why he's technically in a doghouse to start the season, which I think is unfair because they were shorthanded. You needed shooting. LeBron's not playing. He proved himself. You played him even after he came back from the trade that was vetoed or due to health reasons of Mark Williams. So I agree with your rant, and I expect more from the Lakers and JJ Redick.
You want me to go?
Yeah, go for it.
Well, here's the deal, and I'll get to the Lakers in a second. The reason why JJ Redick is not playing Dalton Connect. Dalton Connect can't guard. Dalton Connect can't make decisions off the dribble. And Dalton Connect, to Phil Space Cadet's point, doesn't remember the plays. You see the frustration on the players' faces and in most particularly JJ Redick's face. Listen, the guy can score the basketball. I'm very surprised that he lasted until the 17th pick of the first round a couple of years ago to the Lakers. There's also a reason why the Lakers weren't losing sleep over trading him for then Mark Williams to where the trade was voided because of the X-rays or the pictures that came back in regards to Mark Williams' foot. We can discuss that on another day. I don't think Dalton Connect is in the plans of the Lakers. This was very similar to how Steve Kerr, the Warriors, treated Jonathan Kuminga. I think Kuminga is coming around in that regard. Is there a possibility for that with Connect and the Lakers? Absolutely. But we'll see what happens with Connect going forward. As for the other night, LeBron didn't play, firstly. Secondly, the Lakers were down 4 points with 5 minutes to go. They shot 25% from three. They were 17 from 28 from the free throw line. They missed 11 free throws, and they turned the ball over 20 times against a team I think is going to be contending for a Western Conference championship in the Golden State Warriors. So they played poorly from all over the place. Yes, they got a great performance from Luka Doncic. They got a pretty good performance from Austin Reeves. Rui Hachimura had 9 points. They didn't get much from anybody else. So, yes, we are concerned about the minutes when Luka goes to the bench. You put the whole pressure on Austin Reeves. I get that. But I think the Lakers will be fine once LeBron comes back to the fold. They're going to be another scary team to play in the Western Conference playoffs. Not as scary as the Warriors or some of the other contenders, but anytime you have Luka and LeBron, although LeBron's going to be 41 next spring, I think LeBron will still have an effect, an impact on winning a playoff series. So it is early. I am concerned for Dalton Connect. Should JJ parse his feelings or put his feelings aside and possibly just throw him in and see how he can play? That will come. But I'm telling you why he doesn't play right now. He's awful defensively, can't make decisions off the dribble, and forgets plays when it's very, very important. And I think JJ is very frustrated right now, and that's why you're seeing a DMP to start the season for Dalton Connect.
AM, your thought on the Lakers, man? They got a math problem out there.
But we're talking about the Lakers because we don't need four guys talking about Dalton Connect. So we'll leave it at the three of you. The Lakers are truly one of the more fascinating teams this year. Why do I say that? Because they're actually built for the playoffs. Dwight, you just brought it up. They are a very tough out. As long as you're starting five, gives you 36 minutes plus a game and can continue that somehow through all 16 games, you got a shot with the Lakers when they come playoff time. But they are not built for the regular season. So let's just make sure that they're one of the top, 7 or 8 that get there and get their chance. Because really, when you look at the construct of this roster, I'm confused by it. I really am. Dalton Connect aside, it's like, to me, Rui and Austin Reeves are ceiling guys. They have ceilings. They have no floor. At certain nights, especially Rui, you're going to look at that, and he could fall through the floor. And he's not giving you what you need, and Austin Reeves is like, he's pretty good, and he's pretty good at certain times, but there's a reason he got the contract that he did and couldn't quite get it somewhere else or didn't test the market because he's happy where he's at and he's playing for LeBron. Outside of LeBron and Luka, the team's oddly not worth discussing too much because you look at like Gabe Vincent or you look at Maxi Kleber, right? Or their big signing in the other, Jake LaRavia. Maxi Kleber is literally 4th on the depth chart at the power forward position, and I think 3rd at the center position. And I'm pretty sure, unless I'm mistaken, and somebody can correct me of that, I think he's the 4th highest paid guy on the team. I really do, right? And it's like, it's fascinating to me. And LeBron is making over $52 million a year. Why? Why did he need to take that contract for 1 year? Why couldn't he stop at 37? And all of us, we always say, like, go get your bag, do what you, let's not question. But at this point, 20 some odd years in the league, global superstar making money, every time he turns around, it's like, why not take $37.5 million and have the extra $15 million for exception to put yourself in a position to go get 1 or 2 of the guys, especially a shooter, if Dalton Connect is not going to be your shooter. I do not understand the construct of the Lakers trying to get through 82 games, but I do understand them in the playoffs. Not a team you want to see as long as those guys are giving you 36 to 38 minutes a game at least.
They got to get more out of DeAndre Ayton. I'll be the first to say that. They need to get more out of him. He has a chip on his shoulder. He spoke a good game in the preseason. It now needs to parlay to the regular season. DeAndre Ayton has to come to the table if the Lakers want to be considered a contender in the Western Conference.
Yeah, another guy with not much of a ceiling. you got three guys with low floors, not much of a ceiling, but they're there. They're warm bodies for you.
We are Beyond the Surface on the X-Rated Sports Network. A.M. Pfeffer, Dwight Walton, Dr. Phil McDonald, aka Dr. X. I'm Rick Kamla. So guys, we're obviously a little bit short on time here. Usually to our audience, we talk more NFL. We talk a ton of NBA. We talk a good chunk of NFL as well. This show is going to be a little different because of the gambling scandal, and that ate up a lot of our show, and rightly so. Two games I want to talk about, guys, and then we'll sign off here. And I know you guys are chomping at the bit here for the 3-3-1 Dallas Cowboys, coming off a doubling up of the Commanders last week. At Denver, a mile high, 5-2 Broncos. This is, and we've got Packers and Steelers to talk as well. These, to me, are the two glitzy games of the week. I want to go to Dwight, because you were excited to talk about this game. And simply, we're not going to do point spread, just who you got.
Bias, I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. I am concerned about this game because it is on the road. The Cowboys have scored over 40 points in all of their home games. They only give up 24 at home, but on the road, they only score, I want to say, 24 points. And it's a losing proposition. So the Cowboys are playing well. They got CeeDee Lamb back. Javonte Williams is excellent at the running back position. The defense is still a leaky faucet. Bo Nix has been inconsistent at quarterback for the Broncos. My heart says the Cowboys win on Sunday, but my football mind says the road woes will continue. Bo Nix, although their offense is inconsistent, but because they're home, they will get the job done, unfortunately, for my Dallas Cowboys on Sunday.
Hey, you next, man. Cowboys or Broncos? Who you got?
Yeah, I'm going Cowboys in this one. I mean, Pat Surtain can only cover one of George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb, or even Jake Ferguson at a time, right? And look, Denver has one of the better defenses in the league for sure, but dive deeper into the metrics, and there's an opportunity to expose them, right? Dak, to me right now, is the MVP of the league, at least the last 3 games. I mean, he's playing at such a high level. He is showing you what it is to be a quarterback. They've got a running game. Their Achilles heel, of course, is the defense, but when you're playing against Bo Nix, who at this moment, really, I mean, other than what he's done, 1 quarter a game, 3 different games this year, is just not getting it done at the quarterback position at all. So, of course, the Cowboys and their defense and what the problem is, but that might not be a problem at all for them. I mean, if they can put up 28 plus points in that game, which I think they can, because Denver can be exposed. I mean, and they just got exposed at home by the Giants. No reason Dallas can't do the same. I'm going Dallas this weekend.
Interesting. Dr. X, Dallas or Denver?
I'm gonna go with Denver only because of the home field advantage. I believe Denver has that grit. They got that defense, and what Dwight's point with that they score less when they're on the road. I think they've learned. Hopefully, sometimes you learn from losses or almost losses, and the way they came back from the Giants and they're almost lost. I think Bo Nix, it's gonna be he's getting it hopefully, and I think he'll probably have a better showing against a poor defense in the Dallas Cowboys. So I just feel like all those factors kind of favor the Denver Nuggets.
Broncos.
Love it.
I mean, sorry,
The Denver Broncos.
Denver Broncos. Denver Broncos.
We knew what you meant. I'll make this quick. I got Denver at home. They have a great home field advantage. I know that Bo Nix has been inconsistent, but dang, did he rise at the right time and make clutch plays against the Giants? He's done it periodically this year. I'm a Bo Nix guy. Second year, we're still going to have some growing pains here. Sean Payton is a GOAT coach. He's one of the best in the NFL, and we're seeing it, right? Give him a year or two. Get Russell Wilson out. That didn't work, right? Okay, now he's got his QB. He's got a defense. He's got a running game. Courtland Sutton, to me, is the most underrated receiver in the NFL. This guy makes plays, and he just isn't talked about it like the CeeDee Lamb level, and he maybe isn't at that level, but I love him. Anyway, the bottom line for this game is Dallas's defense. It sucks. It's dreadful, especially on the road. And this is not like an environment to fix that. You're going to a 5-2 team who's cooking right now. That's not a recipe for going to Carolina's a recipe for getting right. Maybe not this year, they're 4-3, but you guys get the point. So I got Denver in this one. One last game, fellas. It's Sunday Night Football, and ooh la la. It is the Green Bay Packers at 4-1-1 at the Pittsburgh Steelers 4-2. And I'll go to Dr. X first on this one. Who you got, Pack or Steez?
I'm gonna go with the Steelers. I just feel like Aaron Rodgers is gonna have a revenge game, and he has that dog in him, and he's going back home against these guys. And he did the same thing to the Jets, the season opener. Not that the Jets, in retrospect, are a team to be reckoned with, but I just feel like
Hey,
it's a better story. It's a better story if Aaron Rodgers goes back and he wins. Against the Packers. So I have the Steelers winning. I mean, yeah.
just to be clear, he's not going back anywhere. He's not going to Lambeau. This is in Pittsburgh.
Oh, it's in Pittsburgh. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, with that said, I still have the Steelers. I'm
All
going
right.
with the black and gold right here.
Well, I mean, we got the look right here, don't we? AM, who you got, Steelers or Packers?
Yeah, as much as it pains me to admit it, I will say it's the Steelers in this game. I mean, even though Rodgers said this isn't a revenge game, he wants to end his career signing with the Packers and ending it all there. He's got nothing but love, this, that, the other. I mean, he's a fuel of the fire guy for sure. So, I mean, he's going to be out there doing whatever he can, to win this game, certainly. And I think a lot of his teammates are going to rise to the occasion to do it for him because this is the first time he's playing the Packers since he left. On top of that as well, I mean, here's a guy who is at about 2.5 seconds, even a little bit less, getting rid of the ball. So you can mitigate Micah Parsons getting to him that night. Yard after the catch guys, DK's getting it done. His tight ends are getting it done. The Steelers' defense is not good, but until the Packers' offense finds some consistency, because they have all the horses to do it, and they've got the great-minded coach to do it, and Jordan Love at times, when he wants to be explosive down the field, he can do it too, but there's been no consistency to this team, and until they can prove that, you got to go with the Steelers here. There's too much favoring them in this game.
Dwight?
I don't want my answer to be a cop-out answer, but it's going to sound like one. Had the game been in Wisconsin, I was going to choose Green Bay. But the game is in Pittsburgh. My concern is the leaky faucet that is the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. They put a ton of money into the defensive side of the football. And is it taking time for that group to gel on that side of the football field? They probably are. They have made big plays in big moments in some of their early wins this season. But until the defense of the Steelers can match with Aaron Rodgers and DJ Metcalf, I think the Steelers need one more receiver, one more weapon on that offensive side of the football for me to be even more confident in them. I think the Steelers will win the game on Sunday night because it's in Pittsburgh. Had it been in Green Bay at Lambeau Field, I would have gone with the Packers. But again, my concern, can Jordan Love and that inconsistent offense of the Green Bay Packers somehow get right against that leaky defense known as the Pittsburgh Steelers? I have the Steelers, but my concern is on their defensive side of the football.
Guys, in our audience, I gotta take a actually I got a bit here, so I want to get back on camera. You guys could. We're talking about predictions here on the Green Bay Packers and Pittsburgh Steelers. Guys, I need to sip a little ayahuasca here before we.
Okay.
Get into a darkness retreat.
Yeah, I'm not tripping yet, but maybe here is the day. Anyway, all jokes and stupid bits aside, Aaron Rodgers, how do I put this? Like one of you guys called him a dog. He's petty. I think the word is petty. Like, and I don't mean that in a bad way. But he remembers things, right? Carries a chip on his shoulder. He's kind of edgy, right? And actually, I actually like the free, the free thinking and the free spirit. He's kind of like a hippie playing quarterback in the NFL. I kind of dig that, right? But I just think he said it's not a revenge game. We know it's a revenge game. We know it's a revenge game. He doesn't have to acknowledge that. And Dwight and Doc and AM, you know this. players almost never take the bait on that question. They just don't, right? They don't want to gas up the media and create headlines. They just want to play it straight. It's like, if Jimmy Butler's playing against the Heat, it's not a revenge game. The hell it is? What are you talking about? You and Pat Riley were at war. Of course it's a revenge game. So I think Aaron Rodgers, guys, is going to be doing the discount double check. He does that thing.
Yeah.
He's going to be doing the discount double check and saying like, I own you. You're anyway. So yeah, I got Green Bay. Pardon me, I got confused there. I got the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to get his revenge, fellas. Woo! What a show, man! What a show!
Yeah.
You guys this has just been absolutely fantastic, man. And we got to wrap up, guys. A couple of reminders here. Please make sure that you like and subscribe our YouTube channel, X-Rated Sports Network. Obviously, the show here is Beyond the Surface. And a little heads up, hopefully nobody gets hurt, right? But injuries happen. And when they do, we've got Dr. X, we've got Dr. Knob, the best injury analyst in the business. There's nobody doing it at a higher level, okay? So fortunately, we don't have any of those injuries to talk about so far, but ultimately we know that it's inevitable that we will. And we just want to alert you guys. Go to our IG page, go to our YouTube page, and subscribe. And we'd really appreciate that. Again, X-Rated Sports Network, X-RAYTED Sports Network. For Dr. Phil McDonald, a.k.a. Dr. X. For Dwight Walton. For A.M. Pfeffer. For Jason and Kai in our studio. I am Rick Kamla. Have a great weekend, everybody. Enjoy all the ball. And we will see you next week with Beyond the Surface here on the X-Rated